Okay, here we are. We are now in draft season. We're in the off season. We're in free agency season, whatever you want to say. But I wanted this video to not just be a draft video necessarily, about a giant draft topic, a giant mock draft. I have not watched tape on enough guys to do a giant mock draft yet. So I wanted this to be a video in which I talk about the prospect that if the Rams stay at 19, or even if they trade down a little bit, like I believe they're going to acquire an extra third-round pick, I think they're going to get this guy. So before we get into it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let's dive in. The mystery player that I would put money on the Rams most likely draft at 19, or if they stay in that vicinity in the first round, is Georgia offensive tackle Amarius Mims. Mims is 6'7". He's 340 pounds, played very few games, has injury concerns with the tightrope surgery this past year. I understand you hear that and you're instantly like, Jake, what are you doing to us? Are you kidding me? Injury concerns? Hear me out. Guy's an explosive athlete. He's agile. He can get to the second level. He's very flexible. He's a stout pass protector. Does not rely overly on one thing, okay? He's not going to focus solely on his athleticism. He has good technique, fluid mover in his pass sets, and he'll need to improve his run blocking, no doubt. The upside, though, I think is absolutely huge. I think he... and because of that part, you might be like, is he not going to go top 10? How does this guy not go top 10? Well, it's because of what I told you, the lack of experience and the injury concerns. But this year, in 7 games, he allowed 2 pressures and he had no sacks given up and was second in qualified pass efficiency. Former 5-star recruit. Mims comes from the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, the Rams went out. They got Stetson Bennett from there. They got Warren McClendon. They have gone after Georgia Bulldogs in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went after Amarius Mims. Now, in the past, I would be absolutely horrified of a pick like this. Reason being, athletic, injury-prone, not a lot of experience. I mean, kind of sounds a little bit like Greg Robinson, no? But here's the thing. Before you instantly start thinking about G-Rob, let me just explain this real quick. Greg Robinson wasn't very coachable, and he was all athleticism when it came to his pass protection. He did overly rely on his athleticism, did not have great technique, was more of a run blocker, a mauler, if you will. And when he got to the NFL, his pass protection was awful, and because of it, he just didn't really work as hard as everyone else. So you saw the other things drop in his game, including his ability to help in the run game. He wasn't even as good in the run game as he was in college. So this guy has flexibility, which I love. But I think the thing that makes me so excited about a guy like Mims coming to the Rams is that I thought Alaric Jackson played well enough down the stretch, bear with me, to start next year. And my thing is, as well as he played in the second half, the first half, yeah, you get it. But I kind of feel like Alaric Jackson, first off, he'll be back. I really feel good about him coming back. I know he's a restricted free agent. I think the Rams really like him. I think he'll be back in horns. But if he's back, I think he's going to take over Joseph Noteboom, because I think they will be moving on from Joseph Noteboom. They can't pay him $20 million to sit the bench. So I think he'll move on. He'll become either the 6th man or he would battle whoever in camp. And I think it would make the Rams better if they went out and got a guy like Mims, to battle out against Alaric Jackson. Now, there are some guys in this draft, Talis Fuaga, who I really, really like. Quinton Mitchell, who's the corner. Fuaga is a tackle. Mitchell is a corner. There are guys, I don't think that Kool-Aid McKinstry will fall to this far anyway. But it's worth mentioning. There are other guys that I like. But make no mistake about it, if I'm reading the tea leaves, I see what the Rams could utilize. And you see Stafford, the way he played in that Lions game, and you're like, he's not just going to be around next year. He's going to be around the year after that and the year after that. And what do I mean by around? I'm not talking about bottom of the barrel quarterback starting. I'm talking about a guy who could still be a top 10 quarterback when he's finished, you know? And so going out and getting a guy like Mims to protect his blind side for the future and then go to the next quarterback, whoever that is, to me, that is justifiable. It makes sense. You know, I would definitely like that. Now, I understand he played right tackle. And I think some people are like, he's going to be a right tackle. He can't play left. He can play left. He could play left. No doubt about it. I feel like he could play left. I think Fuaga could play left. So I've heard that a lot. I know some people are going to talk about Jordan Morgan as well. I think Morgan deserves, you know, a mention. The kid from Yale. Well, we're going to dive into all of those. Okay, so don't even worry. I'm going to have profiles on all of those guys, doing videos on them. I'm going to do, you know, my YouTube shorts I did last year. We're going to have plenty of content, so don't worry. But I wanted to make this video because I feel like right now, before I dive into the film, before I dive into the analytics, because I told you this year I'm going to marry film and analytics in my evaluations. Before I do that, I wanted to kind of throw this out there and be like, look, Fuaga's my favorite. I mean, that I would love Fuaga in, you know, Rams uniform, but I like Mims, and I see with what Ryan Wendell did as the, you know, the offensive line coach, and having, you know, a guy like Mike Munchak, a true legend of offensive line coaching, on the staff. I don't know if he'll return, but having those guys, to me, makes this really a no-brainer. I think they've hit a point where the coaching staff can allow, as long as you're willing to be coached up, you know, as long as Mims is a coachable player, this is going to work. He's got the athleticism, but he's not overly reliant on athleticism. He has already the pass protection down. He's got really fluid movement in the pass sets. You know, his kick slide is really good. You know, this is somebody that, again, like, not overly reliant on one thing really gets me excited. And if you're going to struggle as a run blocker, like, he's not even really struggling. It's kind of nitpicky. I mean, from what I've seen with him, and I haven't watched like 4 or 5 games on him. I've watched like 2. But from what I've seen with Mims, is he's somebody that isn't that bad as a run blocker. It's just not his best area. So, again, lack of experience and the injuries could cause him to fall. But another team's trash is another team's treasure. And when you're the Rams, who haven't had a first-round pick in a minute, you really have to hit on this. But at the same time, last year, the way the draft went, you don't have to go out of your way to hit on this. So what I mean by that, you don't have to play this thing safe. You can go try to swing for the fences and go out and get some guy that has, you know, crazy measurables and athleticism, explosion, flexibility, and go out and then use your coaching staff to the best of your ability to develop this guy. Because I'll tell you right now, we're seeing it. Athleticism at tackle still matters. Okay, there's some old school tackles. Don't get me wrong, but Mims, he's different. He's definitely different. So I think right now I feel very good. Like, if the Rams drafted tomorrow, I feel like they would take Amarius Mims if he was there, and I think he will be there because, again, I think teams are going to be panicking. You know, not every team just had a 14-player draft that had Puka Nacua and Kobe Turner in it. Arguably should be the offensive rookie of the year and defense rookie of the year. Not every draft, you know, hit out of the park without getting a first-round pick. And so a lot of these, you know, GMs know that they're drafting with, like, their job on the line, essentially. So a lot of them can't take the chances that the Rams maybe can because they're ahead of schedule. And that's where I think this opens up and kind of just falls in their lap. So I like Mims a lot. I like the size. I like the athleticism. I like his ability to get to the second level. I like his flexibility. I think he's going to be really good going up against speed rushers. He's going to be really good going up against those bendy freaks on the edge. You know, those guys that just, I mean, they're practically touching the ground, running under a table, if you will. He just needs to be developed as a run blocker and obviously get some reps. I mean, He's only played 7 games this year. He played, I think, a few last year. Again, tightrope surgery. Like, there's reasons why these guys fall. So you might not get Fashanu. You might not get Alt. You might not get Fuaga. You might not even get Latham. But, I mean, you could argue Mims can end up being better than all of them. I think his ceiling is crazy high. And the only thing is he hasn't played a left tackle, but I don't really care. And, again, what it comes down to, this pick is an investment. And you go out and you get him in the first round, you have that 5th-year option locked in. So you can pick up that 5th-year option and you don't get hit with the Joseph Nopum. Okay, 4 years, now I have to pay you because he was a 3rd rounder. Now you do pay him. The salary goes up because of the 5th-year option, but it's a pretty damn good deal if it works out. So I understand, people are going to say win now, go after, a can't miss, guy. And there'll be some safe options here if they want to go that route. Mims is not safe. You have to understand, Mims is not a safe pick. Mims is a pick you go after that could absolutely just completely tear it up. I mean, this is somebody that can end up being your bookend left tackle for the next decade. But it's also somebody that could crash and burn a little bit because of the injury history. And that's also something to keep in mind. So for me, I understand the injury history is scary, but that's how you're going to get somebody that's arguably a top 10 pick falling into your lap at 19. Potentially the Rams trade down here. Say they trade down with the Cowboys. They get him at 24. And then ideally they get a 3rd round, an extra 3rd round pick. Now you're cooking with gas, but that's where I'm at. I feel really good about the position the Rams are in. I've said it over and over again. Bring back Kevin Dotson, have that retained offense. But if you can upgrade the offensive line, definitely do so. There are guys in this draft that, I think they can definitely upgrade at center. They can upgrade at left tackle. They can upgrade at tight end. They could upgrade at wide receiver. I mean, there are different places that they could go. But I think this tackle class, you got to get at least one of these top guys. So I like Mims here. Let me know what you guys think. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. You can follow me at JK Bogan on all social media. And just so you guys know, I also have another podcast. It's an unfiltered, uncensored, just view of me, essentially. It's a daily show, essentially every single day. I'm doing a 30-minute or 40-minute rant about whatever I want. People are liking it, so if you want to take part in that, link is in the description. I'll see you guys soon. Take care, folks. Later.
Start playing Pick'em or Weekly Fantasy for any sport today, Jake. Users will receive a 100% deposit match up to $100 if they use promo code OTE at sign up. Start playing Pick'em and Weekly Fantasy Football today with Underdog Fantasy.
Do you love talking about the Rams, the NFL, or just want to be a part of a community? Join my free Discord server today. We're over 800 members. We got 24/7 live chat, a level 3 boosted server, the ability to call into JE Live, playing online games with us on Kick streams, toggleable alerts for when I go live on YouTube or Kick so you don't miss a live stream, and exclusive giveaways. Click the link in the description, the comments section, or the link that comes up in the video to learn more and join today.